Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first webinar of 2019. The topic I want to talk about today is our COM2-24 range of sensors and their features and applications. So some of the, first of all, I will do a review of what is a COM2-24 sensor, what are the features it has, and then I'm going to discuss two major applications for it in terms of energy saving in HVAC systems and also receptacle control using the COM2-24 sensors. So just a refresher, most of you probably know that we have our line of Control Pro sensors that we have them in several models, PIR, dual tech, and ultrasonic only. Throughout the whole range, regardless of the technology, we have the COM2-24 sensors. So a COM1-24 sensor, which is the most commonly used one, will just have a lighting output for you to control the lighting. So basic timer for the lighting and lux level sensing for some daylight responsive control. And then, as you can see in the image here, the COM2 sensor, you have an COM2 sensor will give us an isolated normally open or normally closed relay to integrate with some other system or to be used as a signaling relay for another power pack or another contactor. As you can see on the back of the sensor, on the COM1 we have the two dials on the top left, but on the COM2 we have the additional dial number 7 and dial number 8. Dial number 7 is the stay on time of that relay, and dial number 8 is the switch on delay. So what does these two mean? What is their setting and how we should treat them? Stay on time can be adjusted between 0 to 120 minutes. So 0 is not when we don't want to use it. So 1 to 120 minutes is your adjustment range if you are planning to use it. And this is the period of time from that the contact will be closed or open, depending on the normally open or normally closed side that you want to use. And after the last occupancy. So when the sensor does not detect any more occupancy, the countdown timer, depending on the setting, let's say for an hour, for 60 minutes, will start counting down, and then it would release that relay. The second dial and the second adjustment is the switch on delay. So the reason to have the switch on delay is because this function is mainly put in for HVAC integration. So we don't necessarily want to turn on the HVAC as soon as someone walks in, because there's occupancy in the area, because someone may be just passing through or not staying that long. We don't want to turn on the HVAC and run it for an hour or something, which is the time delay for it. And also we want to reduce the number of times the HVAC turns on and off. So we would put a switch on delay to give it some time. Let's say if you are in there, someone is in the area is occupied for at least 5 minutes, then we want the HVAC system to kick in and start cooling down the place. One thing to keep in mind about COM2 sensors and the relay output is that it's auto on. So as soon as you have occupancy, either the switch on delay will start counting, or if you don't have a switch on delay and it's set to 0, um, the the relay will close, and the relay will switch position and will give the signal to HVAC, or if you're using it for receptacle control, to your contactor or power pack, so your second power pack. So there is no manual on setting. So this output can't be used directly, at least for situations that you have a second light circuit and it needs to be manual on, because this one only works as an auto on feature. Like I said, to quickly recap, we have, as you can see on the top of the image that I've shown here, that all of the Control Pro series range comes in the COM2-24 version. So you have IR Quattro COM2, IR Quattro HD COM2, US Quattro, US Hallway, One Way, and DT Quattro. The corner mount versions, the Dual Tech or PIR, all of them, we have the COM2 version. So it's really more a matter of the application, and whether you need the COM2, you can get it in all the different versions that that you want. This is just a basic wiring diagram for a COM2 sensor with one power pack and integration with HVAC relay contacts. So as you can see, your normal sensor would just have the 5 bottom wires that go to the power pack or to the momentary switch to control the lighting load. But in the COM2 sensors, you have 3 wires, normally open, relay common, and normally closed, to integrate with an HVAC system. So now that we have got the basics of what a COM2 sensor is, let's talk about integration of occupancy, energy saving and energy efficiency and HVAC systems, and why this is a good idea and this is already happening. So as you can see, this is some data that I got from Pacific Northwest Company, which is one of the major companies who does does research on the energy saving and energy saving solutions, and how it's how we can reduce the costs and all that. So based on their study, average energy cost saving of 38% by adding few controls to the HVAC system. So imagine how much you can save by just, doing a little upgrade on the occupancy sensor that is the energy code requires you to put in anyway. You just add a little function to it, set it up, connect it to the HVAC system, and I'm not saying you will get a 38% just by using the occupancy, adding the occupancy-based control. We will get to that as well, but it would be one of those measures that can easily help you have some energy savings. So definitely, when you want to propose the use of COM2 sensors or justify it to an engineer, you want to show an engineer why they should do this, this energy saving would definitely be something that is very appealing to many end users, especially if you look at the numbers in areas that have some warmer weather conditions. So for example, in Los Angeles, few modifications to the HVAC system will give you 55 to 64% cost saving. easily you can reduce your costs by more than half. So it definitely a good selling point for that. And you know, um, it's not a big, complicated solution anyway. So it's easy to do, saves you a lot of money. And if we come here, so we have the energy savings for occupancy-based control. So this study is from US Department of Energy. This is their study as how much, like what percentage of saving you can expect by using occupancy-based control, basically like a COM2 sensors, and integrating it with with the VAV system, variable air volume system. So here, let's see, we have numbers from 8% reduction, 8% energy saving, to from 2.6 in Miami, Florida, up to 8% in Salem, Oregon. So, like at the least, you get, I mean, in a worst case scenario, you get 2.6% energy saving. And in a good condition, 8% you can say of that average 38% can be from occupancy-based energy saving. And this is just one case study for integration with variable air volume systems. It can be any kind of system. It's just the method of implementation and how we are going to go about it. I didn't want to go more and more into details of how this will, how much energy saving this provides, because it would be all case studies. But like one of the interesting thing information that I saw was that in a typical school, since we are quite involved with school projects, like most of you, in a school, about 58% of the energy consumption is from the HVAC system. I mean, it's not all electrical. Parts of it the heating part would be gas, but still a huge portion of it would be from cooling and ventilation, which if combined with occupancy would give a very good energy saving, especially cooling that you need it in summer when school is mostly closed. So you don't want to be constantly cooling down an empty school. You would only be cooling down based on presence of students or staff or someone in the school. So I'm gonna start reviewing few examples of cases that you can use a COM2 sensor for some small applications. And if you remember, in my previous webinars, I've gone through some more of these. So it's also a good thing to look back on those. And if you had any questions, get in touch with us. So the application you see here is a small private office, two fixtures, not much to it. It doesn't fall under the criteria of daylight responsive control. Best sensor you can put in for such an application would be a corner mount sensor, a dual tech corner mount COM2, or a PIR corner mount COM2 sensor. And you would need a power pack for the lighting. You can use a slide dimmer if you want to have, if the fixtures are dimmable. And then the second, the HVAC relay would be connected to the HVAC system. If you have a VAV, to the VAV, or if you have a building management system, that can go back to the building management system, and you can do it remotely. This is quite a common case in many projects. Like you would see a lot of small offices, same as this one, that can significantly benefit from such a solution. And as you can see, it's not much different from I mean, the cost-wise, it's not much different from a lighting-only solution. But you're saving a lot more for the client. I mean, the client would be saving a lot more by this little addition. The next one, you can see a conference room. So this is actually quite a complicated and interesting case. As you can see in this conference room, we have 2 circuits. I've even considered receptacle control as well in this one, which we will talk more in detail later about it. But here you have the full package. You have your dimming, you have multiple lighting zones, you have receptacle control and HVAC integration. So easily, and how I mean, you can do this very easily with this solution here. 2 DT Quattro COM2 sensors, 3 power packs, 2 0 to 10 volt slide dimmers, and you have a full solution for a conference room for yourself that covers everything. I mean, I've assumed that this conference room is in the interior part of the building, so there are no windows to it. But again, if you had such a situation, get in touch with us. We can do that as well. So this is a solution that would work for a lot of that you would run into in a lot of places.
Toria, we do have a question if this is a good time for it.
Sure, go ahead.
Can the COM2 sensor be used to control other loads besides HVAC, like second lighting load, receptacle, fan, etc.?
Yes, I have a specific slide for it. I will explain there when we get to it, and especially when we get to receptacle control, I will explain it there. So it's a whole chapter of the webinar would be on that topic. So moving on, this would be well, I want to say super complicated case that we have here. This is something that you would see in California with Title 24, that you have your open office area, you have your primary daylight zone, you have your secondary daylight zone, you have your general lighting zone. So you would need dimming, daylight responsive control, receptacle control, and now you want to add HVAC integration. So in each zone, you can have your dimming sensor, DIM-24 sensor for dimming and daylight responsive control. You have your second COM2 sensors I mean, it provides enough cover. I have put 2 because we need 2 of them to provide sufficient coverage. But also it will help us achieve all the targets that we want to achieve, all the code requirements and energy efficiency requirements that we want to achieve. So the wiring diagram for this would be a bit too complicated to show here and explain it. But as you can see, in a quite complicated, and it's got everything you can have in a lighting control situation pretty much. So that can be taken care of with a combination of like DIM-24 sensors and COM2-24 sensors, and power packs for the lighting and for the receptacle control as well. So this would be, I think, so I don't see a scenario that would be more complicated than this. So if you run into something like this, or even more basic, get in touch with us. We have the wiring diagrams ready. It's just not something that would be very useful to go over in this webinar, how to tie a bunch of wires together. Okay, so one other application that kind of fits in between is use of a COM2 -24 sensor for control of a exhaust fan or a ceiling fan in case of those offices. So let's say you have a public restroom, and in this case we have a men and women public restroom with a common exhaust fan. So we want to make sure that based on occupancy on either side, exhaust fan, but for both, like the common exhaust fan would be turned on. So as you can see, we have the US Quattro COM2 in each of the restroom areas, one power pack for lighting control in each of them, and one power pack that will be controlled by both of the occupancy sensors for the common exhaust fan. I mean, I'm saying it will be controlled by both of them, but a signal from either of them will turn the exhaust fan on, obviously. So you don't need someone to be, both restrooms to be occupied for the exhaust fan to work. So this would be one of those applications that there was a question about. Obviously, we can do a similar thing in a like in a small office with a ceiling fan or something like that, that a secondary power pack would be used for controlling the ceiling fan. The next topic that we are going to talk about would be receptacle control. So ASHRAE 90.1, all the different versions of it or releases of it requires receptacle control. So as per section 8.4.2, 50% of receptacles in each area are to be controlled based on a time schedule or occupancy. And here's a little diagram that shows how this is going to work. So you have your lighting loads that are controllable, and then you have controlled plug loads and uncontrolled plug loads. And then the same requirement is available in California's Title 24. I talked about this in my last webinar, which was only about Title 24. Here's a little thing I found about California and the amount of energy saving when you add receptacle control. So only office plug loads consume at least 3,000 gigawatts per hour annually. Oh, gigawatt hours annually in the state of California. That is $400 million each year. And that's just one state and one type of building. So imagine how much saving you can introduce by adding receptacle control to into all projects. And again, it's not a very costly solution, but the energy saving, the amount of energy saving is definitely something that would get the client's attention. So as you can see, this is the same small office, same sensor, and pretty much same thing. You just need to add one more power pack to the mix, and the second power pack would be controlled by the HVAC output. So that would be an auto-on situation that we have, that as soon as you enter there is occupancy in the room, plug loads will be turned on. I mean, the controlled plug loads will also turn on as well, and then will turn off on a separate timer from the timer for lighting. So if your lighting control is set to 15 minutes, your plug loads have their own independent time delay. Again, as you can see, small office load, and the same scenario since the topic of ceiling fans and came up. So same combination and same products can be used to control that ceiling fan based on occupancy as well. So if you don't have receptacle control, let's say in this office, but you want that the ceiling fan to be controlled by through occupancy, you exactly just need this combination. An IR corner mount COM2-24 sensor, two TR100 power packs, and a momentary switch to control the lighting. You can use a slide dimmer in place of the momentary switch as well if you have dimming in such a small office. Of course, nowadays dimming is becoming quite popular. So yeah, slide dimmer in place of that momentary switch, and you have, again, all the things you need in a small office. Next case would be, again, the same conference room that we had before. And we have the slide dimmers, we have the plug load control, and receptacle control. And here you still have two COM2-24 sensors. So even if you want to add in the HVAC integration, you can do it. But this combination here would be sufficient for receptacle control with the COM2-24 sensors. And again, we discussed the receptacle control for big open office areas in the previous slide with the HVAC integration. The one topic that I did not anticipate, and it's not very common, at least in my experience, is controlling two sets of lighting loads with a COM2-24 sensor. Again, it would be treated like a receptacle control, so you would need a second power pack. So if we go back to this slide, let's say if we want to control those fixtures independently, you would have two power packs. The only thing you have to keep in mind is the second timer, the timer for the HVAC timer on the COM2-24 sensor has a time delay of up to 2 hours. So you have to make sure that you do not exceed the code mandated, energy code mandated 20 or 30 minutes time delay when setting up the time delay for the second lighting load. And with that, I will wrap this webinar up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you ran into situations that we didn't cover here, feel free to contact us. We have a whole bunch of wiring diagrams for even your most complicated situations ready, and we can help you design the projects using COM2-24 sensors to meet all the code requirements and, make sure we maximize the energy efficiency and energy saving in a project.
Okay, we're unmuting all the phones right now. If anyone had a question, if you wanted to ask it right now, I'll give you a couple minutes. So if there are no questions, we can go ahead and say thank you so much for attending. And this will also be posted on our website and on our YouTube channel here this week. So thank you so much, and we look forward to talking to you again next time.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.